Hello, and welcome to Horrific Chats. In this segment, we talk with various creators and discuss their introduction to the horror genre, their influences, and their creative works. Tonight, we're joined by Jason Pitts, an independent film creator. Evening, Jason. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Fantastic. With a wee bit of let's just the joys of being connected internationally and time differences and that, but we've got to sort it out over here, so that's the important thing.
Yep.
So, life
We
keeping you
worked it
busy?
out.
Oh, we
Go
okay.
ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, cool. Is there a bit of a delay, or we're good?
I don't think so. I think I just talked over you on accident.
All right, no worries. Yeah, joys of the internet. It just takes sometimes. You get a bit of a delay or getting connected. It's all fun and games. Every episode, there's always something wonderful happens. It's great. Just all the funs and bugs and kinks and all that there. But
Yep.
hey, it's half the fun. So, keeping busy.
Yes. Very busy. Yeah. A lot going on.
That's the best way. But we're working. The moment I'm just working flat out, and it's trying to find time to fit this in as well. You know, it's a juggling act. But if you wanna make stuff, you gotta do it. You gotta put the time in.
Absolutely. Yeah. You gotta just make the time and get it done. Get it done. Push through it.
Excellent. So you're actually you're a filmmaker. So it's a bit different from this show. Up till now, we've been primarily dealing with authors, but the whole point is creativity and anyone who's involved in the horror genre want to talk, chat, talk about the process. The whole idea is if anyone's ever thinking about jumping on board or getting involved in this here, just show them that there's different methods, ways, and what can go right, what can go wrong, all that kind of fun stuff.
Okay.
So you're working at the moment. It's actually through a mutual friend that we met, Lee, who's been supportive of my work as well. So good lad, and he kind of put us in touch. You at the moment are crowdfunding for latest film. This is your third film you're putting together in a trilogy.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's not a trilogy. It's a four-part
Oh,
series.
four parts.
It
Sorry, that's me being silly.
Yeah. It's called the Alone Saga, and the first film in the series is called Alone, and you can find it on Tubi right
Plex
now.
TV as well. That's where I watched it.
Yep, yep. Exumo and Plex as well. Yeah, those two. Masquerade is the second film in the series, and it's in its festival run now. You One of the perks on Lonely Echoes, which is the third film on the Indiegogo, is a $5 perk, and I will send you a private link to Masquerade to where you can view it. I can't have it online yet because it's still in the festival runs. After like later on this year, I'll probably have it online somewhere, or try to
Perfect.
get it on Tubi like Alone is. But yeah, Lonely Echoes. That's what we're pushing towards doing now. Each of these films are their own kind of storyline, but they're also interconnected. And in Lonely Echoes, we really start to kind of bring things together from Alone and Masquerade. But you can still watch it and it still be kind of its own storyline as well. You don't have to watch the other two to really understand.
No, I noticed that actually at the end of Masquerade. You can just see
Yeah,
the links, and it's like, aha! I think I know where this is going. And
yeah,
obviously,
yeah.
I'm not going to put any spoilers, folks. There's links in the description. Get out, watch it, watch alone. Really, really fun. I like the way you do short, sort of short, punchy movies. I think especially some filmmakers make a mistake. They try to do like the 90-minute epics on a limited
hmm
budget, and that's where it kind of falls apart. Is that a consideration? Like when you're trying to work to a budget, or you're doing it independently, so you don't have the backing of a studio or lots of investors. Is it more beneficial to do a short story so that you're not stretching out, or is it just a
Absolutely.
limitation?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's to attempt a feature with very little to no money is very very hard to do. So yeah, I would totally recommend sticking with shorts, shooting in as few locations as possible, a few actors as possible, and really focus on the story and the characters. That's where I would put most of my energy and creativeness into it, is the story, the characters, and try to find like a universal theme that kind of appeals to a mass audience. To attempt a huge long feature with no money is not a good idea. So yeah, I agree. That's
So,
yeah.
is this your first foray into filmmaking, or have you been involved in media? What's kind of your background? Because
Yeah.
my only knowledge I've got are actually the movies and the link in your campaign. Unfortunately, I
Right.
haven't really had a chance to delve too deep in.
Right. I'll give you a little history of me. So like I grew up in the '80s, watched all the horror films like Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street,
Same
all of
Mr.
them.
Kruger behind you. I'm very
Exactly. Yeah.
impressed.
Yeah. Fell in love with horror. I knew that's what I wanted to do. I started out wanting to write screenplays, and I still enjoy it. But that's what I went to school for. I got my degree in radio, television, and film with a minor in English, creative writing. Um, I wrote a screenplay shortly after that. It was picked up by a production company called LP3 Pictures. They produced it, made it into a film. I was able to go into like a Blockbuster or a Hollywood Video and see it on the shelf, with my name on it, which was super
Well, I
cool.
was going to say, what's
Um,
that feeling like? We actually see your finished product out
Man,
there, and
yeah, it's amazing. And it was really cool. Great feeling. Uh, the, the bad part here is the turn is that I didn't make like a dime off of it. As cool as it was, I wasn't able to like support my family or anything like that. So that kind of just really got me down on the business. And I didn't do anything in film for like 15 years. I just focused on making money. I went into retail, was a retail manager for a long
oh
time.
god, that's a fate worse than death. I've been there myself.
Yes, yes, yes. And then in 2020, my son graduated high school, and something about that, I was just like, you know what, it's either now or never. So I just all of my free time, every waking moment that I had free has been for since then about 2 almost 3 years now has been focused on filmmaking. For the right reasons this time. I'm not doing it to make money. If that comes, that's amazing and that's great. But it's really now it's just because I love it, and I feel like I've been more energized and just really I don't know what the happy, I guess, but I've been I just really energized,
There's something
and
about the creative aspect, isn't there? It's
focused.
like
Yeah,
a niche you have to scratch.
yeah,
And if you're a
yeah,
creative
exactly.
person, and if you haven't found your outlet, if you haven't made it your career, and sometimes that's maybe better you don't, because once something becomes your job, then you've got other factors, and then the enjoyment comes out of it. So there's a bit
Yeah,
of freedom if you're doing it at your own pace, but you know it's your project.
right, exactly. And yeah, and so that's when I did Alone, the first film. I before that I did go on to a couple sets as like a production assistant or a director of photography, and I met a lot of people. I did a lot of networking for about 6 months. Met a lot of actors and other filmmakers, and they came on board and helped me with my films, and I helped them with their films. It's a very collaborative kind of family that we've created, um, and it's been amazing. It's been fantastic. And so yeah, we did Alone, we did Masquerade. We shot a separate from the Alone Saga. We shot a Friday the 13th fan film called Voorhees: Night of the Beast. It's a Jason versus Bigfoot movie, and that's coming out. That's coming out in June. We're really excited about that. It's looking really well.
All right, we'll have to
Um,
keep people up to date with that.
yeah.
Is this another short?
No, it's going to be a little over an hour. So
All right, so we're getting
yeah,
a feel like a feature. Please definitely
yeah,
keep the show in touch, Will, and we'll put it out there.
yeah.
Definitely.
It's going to be cool, man. I'm excited. But
How do you
now,
get round when you're using established characters, and
mhm.
obviously studios are involved? How are you able to do that without getting yourself into bother? Do you have to
So
do a bit of
technically,
research first?
yeah,
Do you have to?
yeah. Technically, it is a breach of copyright law. But as long as you don't make any money off of it, you don't make it to make a profit. We're just making it to show it and to say, hey, look what we did. We love Jason. We love Friday the 13th. This is our love letter to it, and to the character. Uh, they leave you. They don't. They leave you alone. Like if you go on YouTube and type in Friday the 13th fan film, there's millions of them, tons of them.
Oh yeah, but it's
And
always been it. Always wonder, do people take a chance, or like set themselves up, or is there a bit of research you have to do, or certain parameters you have to stay within, just to keep yourself right? You know,
yeah,
if you're thinking about creating, or you've got a particular franchise and you want to, like you say, make a fan film, what do you need to do first to just make
put
yourself
it.
keep yourself on the right side of things?
Don't don't make it to make a profit. Put a disclaimer saying all rights at the beginning. All rights are reserved to Paramount, New Line Cinema, um, or whatever studio owns that character, that the film rights of that character. And in this instance for Jason, it's Paramount, New Line Cinema. But that's pretty much it. I know like people make Star Trek fan films a lot. Um, you just have to be careful and make sure uh, make sure you are very transparent with your money and and that, yeah.
Yeah. No, it was just I don't know if you're aware, the Evil Dead game came out last week, Friday the 13th, and I was watching some of the Bruce Campbell interviews, and because the Evil Dead series, each of the movies is run by a different studio, owned by a different studio. He was talking
Mhm.
about the actually putting the game together. There's certain phrases just couldn't say, and apparently the lawyers in Hollywood in particular are like alley cats. You know, if they think that you're going up there into their territory, they'll tear your face off.
Oh man.
And it's just like,
That's
nah,
crazy.
don't fancy that. But also, last thing we want to do is put people off. We need more creators. That's the whole point of this show. So we need more creators out there, especially
Yeah.
with um, the main studios. They're just like fast food restaurant chains. You know what I mean? It's just the same stuff regurgitated, and it's boring as hell. You know, it's we need more stuff out there. We need variety. We need people putting
Yeah,
new flavors.
they definitely got an assembly line going, just cranking them out, and they're just very generic and the same formula over and over again. So yeah, I agree.
And I found horror's been kind of lucky. Hasn't been hit too bad. I think because we're still in niche genre. But have you started to see some of that pattern happening with even horror movies? Like yourself, loved the 80s was like the golden era for horror
Mhm.
movies. That sort of mainstream. I know before that I would say the 30s, or like the Boris Karloff era, or just like the precursor Harmon Horror. That was up. But the 80s was definitely like the fun time for movies, and
Yeah,
that's what kind of established this franchise
yeah,
or genre.
yeah,
Even that'd be the right word, wouldn't it?
yeah. Like if history repeats itself again, it seems like it's every 50 years there's a huge resurgence in horror. Like you said, the 30s, and then 50 years later the 80s, and hopefully we got another one coming soon.
We might still be around to be part of it. That'd be cool, putting stuff
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
So you said, apart from money, what other challenges do you face as a film creator? Because this is completely, uh, obviously authors, they just need to lock themselves away and
Mhm.
create and make sure that the stories get the right people to talk to in terms of editors and that. But filmmaking, you have so many different elements. How do you face each of those challenges?
Yeah, so other than money, the biggest challenge is finding a collaborative balance between your actors, and your other filmmakers, because everyone on set, everyone involved is an artist with their own ideas. So it's really just making everybody feel comfortable and safe to share their ideas, because somebody might have a better idea than you. So you got to find that balance of how everybody works together really well, uh, to be able to share the ideas, but at the same time, be the one in charge, and know when to not shut ideas down, but when to like say, okay, we're going this direction.
Mhm.
That's a great idea, but this works better. That kind of thing. Without it's kind of difficult because everybody's got a little bit of an ego, so you got to be really delicate but also firm. It's tough. It's a huge challenge.
Yeah, I was here a lot, like, especially with social media. I think it's kind of ruined the veneer of the magic of filmmaking because normally you had like a wall between ourselves and the actors, and a lot of them are horrendous people, just to
Yeah,
put it politely. And the vile and vitriol against fans, which I just think is absolutely ridiculous. You don't do that to your customer base, and
yeah.
directors are jumping on, and you got these people who are just, being as nasty as possible. The people that they're trying to convince to buy their product, it's a bit
Yeah, to come watch
strange.
my movie. Come watch my movie, but I'm gonna treat you like crap. Yeah,
Yeah. Or if you
yeah,
don't watch it, you're a horrible person. You're this, that, and the other. It's like, really? Is that going to
yeah.
convince me? So you decided to go down the crowdfunding route. Has that been
Yeah.
successful, or is it now got to the point where it's kind of overcrowded? Do you know why you've got you're using Indiegogo? GoFundMe was a big thing for years. It seems to be that everyone was putting out a GoFundMe every other week. I need my tires changed in my car. GoFundMe. I need a holiday. GoFundMe. It just seemed to be that you were bombarded every day with somebody looking for money for stuff.
Yeah.
Are you finding that difficult in terms of trying to find funding, or if it's for a particular project, does that attract certain people? How's that whole thing work?
So we did a Kickstarter and a GoFundMe for Voorhees, and for that film, it worked really well. We got our goal, we got what we needed, which was 15,000. But for Lonely Echoes, it's been a struggle. This is the second Indiegogo campaign for Lonely Echoes. The first one got about no, about 2,500. This one right now is at about a little over 1,000, and it's very slow. It's kind of stalled out a little bit, but yeah, it's definitely a challenge. So I've been trying to figure out other revenue avenues
Mm-hmm.
to raise the money. I've been selling Masquerade DVDs. Um, I've been selling Masquerade posters, and I've actually been selling my old Todd McFarlane movie Maniac stuff too, to try to raise the money for it. Like this is the thing
Yeah, I
here.
see it there. Excellent.
So yeah, it's been a challenge. I feel like I'm about halfway to my goal. So
Mm-hmm. You mentioned that Masquerade's out at the moment in the festivals. How did that come about, and what's the type of audience that festivals attract as opposed to like the normies? The general cinema going audience. What's kind of the difference there?
so with the film festivals, there's a website called uh, uh, hold on, Film Freeway. There's a website called Film Freeway, and you can upload the movie that you can upload your movie to it, and then you go through their database, and they have like thousands of film festivals listed on that website. And once you have your project uploaded, you can just click a button and say, hey, I want to submit my film to this festival. And there are entry fees to just about all of them.
Mm-hmm.
There are a few that are free, but they're very, very few. They're typically between like $15 to $60 entry fees, and you can enter as many as you want if you have the money. And but it can get very expensive very quick. Uh, but just because you enter into a submit doesn't mean that they accept it. Um, and
But
then
if
once you're
so
accepted,
you're paying them an admin fee to basically them to say yes or no. No
yes,
guarantee it's actually going to happen. It's
that's correct. Yes, yeah. And
ouch.
then yeah, definitely. Ouch. Yeah, and there are thousands of filmmakers out there submitting to all of these film festivals. So it's very, very competitive. Um, and so once you submit, then they'll review it and it was like, yes, we want your film in our festival, or no. Sometimes like I paid like $50 for one, and they rejected it. So that's not cool. So
I
yeah,
suppose it's the
definitely
same as
out.
putting out. You know, what I mean, you can put out ads on social media. You can pay the same amount. You've no guaranteed, even though people click on the link because that's how they charge you. You've no guarantee
Yeah.
anybody's going to purchase the product. So yeah, I suppose that's almost a form of advertising in a way. Um, have you mentioned that it's going through the circle at the moment? Has anyone accepted yet?
Yes. Yeah. Actually.
Right.
Yeah.
So who's
So we
this
had
might be a good idea to talk about. You know, when, where, how can people
right.
get involved?
Yeah. Masquerade is doing really well on the film festival circuit. We've been accepted to I think like close to 20 festivals now,
Mm-hmm.
and we've actually won best horror short 5 times. We've won best director twice. We've been won best acting once and best screenplay once. We like just today. I got 2 emails. One from the Santa Barbara Short Film Festival, and another from the Palm Springs Movie Festival. Uh, it was selected to both of them. The Palm Springs ones, it's currently at a semifinalist, and the Santa Barbara one is currently at a finalist status. So it's doing pretty well. It's doing well.
And so, what the people, if somebody's interested in going to one of these festivals, what do they do? How do they look you up? How do they pick their venue?
Um, there's really not a place that you can go to. I do know that it's going to be at PopCon in Indianapolis, the PopCon Film Festival, in the weekend of June 3rd. So just coming up. But other than that one, I really don't. I don't have a lot of dates. The reason I know that one is because I just looked at it just a few minutes ago.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't have a good answer for that. Just I guess just contact me and I'll let you know.
All right, cool. So at the festivals, do you try to attend yourself? Is there a bit of a Q&A? Is it more of an event as opposed to just a screening, or how does it normally work?
Yeah, I do. If they're close enough, I do try to attend myself. I did get to go to Atlanta back in February. It was the Days of the Dead Horror Film Festival in Atlanta,
Mm-hmm.
and they it was part of a block with another film, and they showed both films. They showed Masquerade and they showed the other film, and then after that block, they had a Q&A with the filmmakers from both movies.
All right.
Yeah.
So
That's
if
how that's how they did it.
Yeah, cool. So people have a chance. It's not just turn up and watch a screening. Basically, it's a bit of an event. You can actually meet the creators
Absolutely, yeah,
and
yeah,
get a bit more insight in how it goes.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And now we're getting on the tail end of COVID. Like during COVID, the last couple of years, all of these film festivals were all virtual. So now they're getting back to being in person again, which is fantastic because that's where you do most of your networking. And I've learned the last couple of years just how important networking is. Not just as finding other creators that you work well collaboratively with, but finding investors
Mm-hmm.
and distributors. So yeah, it's very very important to try to go to these film festivals if you can.
Yeah, like technology is great. We're sitting doing this here right now. You know,
Yeah,
without technology, it wouldn't even be remotely possible. But there's definitely something about face to face, pressing the flesh, so to speak. You know, making that human connection. And you don't know where one conversation is going to lead you. And
exactly.
it's I don't know. I think a lot of people, they want to create, but they also want to like sit in their ivory tower, so to speak,
Yeah,
and don't understand that you have to actually communicate, talk with people. You have to have a bit of rapport. Um, if you don't, you're in trouble. You know, there's
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I for so long I was like that. I was just like, man, I want my work to speak for me. I want somebody to come along, see what I can do, see a movie and just be like, "Oh, you're amazing. Here's a bunch of money. Go make this, go make your movie." But it doesn't work like that. You got to get out there. You got to talk to people, and you got to keep networking. They say it's who you know, but I think it's more who knows you.
Yeah, it's not
So
you know what I mean. There's a difference between nepotism. I think that's what you're trying to hint at. You know, being part of the clique
yeah,
and actually just selling yourself. It's nobody's going to sell you for you, even if you pay someone to do it.
exactly.
They don't know you. They don't know your motivations to that point. You got to sell yourself, and I think people, especially if you're an independent creator, you have to sell yourself. Unfortunately, it's part of the it's part of the pain. But then that's what we're trying to do here is, I want as many voices out as possible. I also want to break down the mistake, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Because I'm just personally I'm tired of, like I said, everything being like a blockchain restaurant or a production line, and it's just the same old guff again, and again, and again. It's definitely happened to horror last year. You just some absolutely awful movies just out through the conveyor belt, no thought, just oh right, let's pump out content just for the sake of it. We haven't ticked that box yet. In terms of
yeah. I
we
mean,
haven't put out a horror movie.
you got Halloween Kills and the new Leatherface and the new Texas Chainsaw are
Oh god,
almost identical.
oh, I didn't watch Halloween Kills. I couldn't. I just had no
Yeah,
faith. I was going to go to the cinema, and I had no enthusiasm for it. I watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and honestly, I wanted to throw the TV out the window.
yeah,
It
it's
was
terrible.
awful, and I'm tired. Personally, I'm just fed up with that kind of stuff, and it's killing the
Yeah,
genre because there were some. The 80s were iconic. Well, that was obviously the 70s movie, but 70s, late 70s, 80s. We've got iconic movies and characters, and now they're just stomping all over them. They're just milking them dry, and
yeah.
they've just become tired
It's
husks.
unfortunate for sure.
So this is where we're hopefully getting new franchises, new ideas. So, apart from Lonely Echoes and uh, Jason, have you any other uh, projects coming out?
Yeah, yeah. I got a in July. I'm shooting a ultra short film. It's just going to be like somewhere between 7 and 10 minutes long. Just really short. It's based on the song. It's called "Little Talks" by Monsters and Men. It's a song that I have loved for 10 years, and it's been rattling around in my head.
Mm.
And I just finally put it down. They developed the idea, put it down on paper, and it's gonna be fun. We're just pretty much shooting it for fun, not really looking to. I'll probably put it on YouTube, but not looking to get it on Tubi or make any money off of it or anything like that.
But is that
Just
not
something
just
to
as
do.
important? Sometimes you have to put out,
Oh yeah,
yeah, put out a bit of yourself. It's like advertising. You can spend $1 million in advertising and get nowhere, but putting a piece together and go busy, folks. Here's a teaser for free.
yeah, exactly. Like here's something else that we can do. Yeah, like I originally had Lonely Echoes scheduled to shoot this month in May, but we didn't get the funding, so we had to push it. Now it's scheduled for March of next year, and like I decided to do this short. It's called "When the Stairs Creak," just kind of in the place of where we originally had Lonely Echoes scheduled, just for my team and I to have something to do.
Yeah, and also I don't think people understand because I know reading what they're actually trying to do with the funding. It's not just shoot the movie. You're bringing cast on board. You're bringing crew. You want actually somewhere for them to stay during the shoot. So you're going to a location. You want to be able to put them up the hotel, so they've somewhere to sleep at night, and they're not having to pay for it themselves. Because who goes to work realistically and pays their own fares? If that makes sense,
Yeah, and feed
especially
them.
the hours
Feed them.
involved.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Food, lodging for everybody, and also on Lonely Echoes for this one, I do want to pay everybody just like a little bit. For Alone and Masquerade, everybody on those worked for free. I just paid for their lodging and their food and fed them, and
Hmm.
that was it. And so yeah, for this one, I really would like to pay them a little bit. So that's why we're trying to raise the money.
All
But
right, no
food
sense.
food and lodging is expensive.
It's good to be transparent. People,
Yeah.
um, I think they need to know what goes into creating, and especially something technical like filmmaking or books or art. Everyone has its own set of costs and time and people involved, and I think the more people understand the amount of work and effort, then they're more likely to support you.
Hmm.
I think a lot of people are very coy, I think, about explaining what you actually need money for.
Yeah.
But
Um, yeah, I agree. I mean, like you said earlier, there's so many people using these Indiegogos and the GoFundmes. You got to be. I mean, if you're going to if you're going to donate to one of these things, you got to be really careful. Like research the person and the company and see what they've done. Make sure that that the chances of them following through with the film are really high. You just don't want to waste your money. And with a group like mine, we have Alone out there, we have Masquerade out there, like we've done it already. So you can feel pretty confident that that if you're supporting us, it's going to get made.
yeah, and the same as what you say, you got the Jason movie coming out, and
Yeah.
is there the fact you've got product, you're showing I'm actually making stuff. Here it is. It's show don't tell sort of thing. Don't
Right.
tell. You know what I mean? People actually say, okay, here's what we can do. Help us out. In terms of the technical aspect, because I've watched a few, you know, what I mean, I watch a lot of independent movies now because I'm just, like I said, I'm fed up with Hollywood.
Hmm.
One thing that's myself and my co-host, we do like a once a month segment, and where we just talk about movies, and sometimes we rip them apart. But how difficult is it to get sound properly done during a movie?
Oh,
And how do
sound,
you
sound.
know if it's right or wrong? Is it during production, post production, or does it just happen and you're like,
Yeah, yeah. Sound is incredibly difficult. You want to make sure you have a really good sound technician. I for Alone and for Alone, Masquerade, and Voorhees, I use the same guy, the same
mm-hmm,
sound technician. His name's Lon Keith, Lon Keith. Really good. He's here in Arkansas. But I basically just trusted him as much as I could. And I also, part of his package that he has is he gives the director and the script supervisor headphones. So as we're shooting it, I'm hearing what he's recording as well. So if there's a like while I'm watching the monitor, I'm looking for like the boom mic coming down. I'm looking for anything in the monitor
mm-hmm.
that messes up the shot while I'm listening for anything like somebody talking or just any sounds that aren't supposed to be there. So my focus is on the monitor and listening. And a lot of times I'll catch stuff and I'll be like, okay, cut, let's do it again. So and so was talking, or there was a truck that we could hear way. This sound equipment is insane. Like a plane will be flying, you can't even see it, and you can barely hear it with your ears. But on
Well,
these, you can still hear it. So yeah, you just so you just keep going until you think it's right, and then a lot of times when you get into the post production process, there'll be something that messed it up that you didn't catch. And when that happens, sometimes you have to do what's called ADR, which is you bring the actor back in and you record them saying their lines, just like in a soundproof booth or something, and then you just take that dialogue and put it and dub it with they watch themselves and match the dialogue with their mouths moving.
mm-hmm.
It's very difficult, very difficult. It's not fun. So you want to catch you want to capture the sound as clean as possible while you're on set so you can avoid that.
Yeah, because that's one thing that can take you. People talk about the visuals, but one thing that can really take you out of the movie is the sound.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
just
People will forgive a mediocre video quality. but they won't forgive bad sound.
Yeah.
Like the sound has to be good.
Even doing this, my some of our earlier videos, I had a completely different setup, and honestly, when I played it back, I was cringing. Just something simple like sitting here having this conversation. If you don't have the
Right.
right setup, oh, it kills you. And
Yeah.
you've already done it. It's too late. It's out there,
Yeah.
and
Sound is incredibly important.
actually, that'd be if you're speaking to Lon and he wants to come on the show, give him a shout because I'd like to. I want to try and get as many different types of creator and the because that's our sounds and artistry. We do a lot of like narration of stories. So
Okay.
there's
Yeah,
you
I'll
know what I
reach
mean
out to him.
we use sound effects but create that comes with its own challenges and but there's definitely an art and a creative process. So sound is something close to my heart. In terms
Yeah.
of creativity, that's kind of my thing here, and it'd be interesting to have somebody on board. Talk about that too, and
Yeah.
then you can talk about your movies as well, the sort of how they set it up and the various things. And did the sound guys have? You talked about egos, artists, creativity. Do you have to have that conversation as much in the technical aspect when you're speaking to somebody like Lon?
Not really. It's more it's more of like some of the actors and um like people who are just like really protective of their creative ideas. But it's more like actors and on the creative side of the film. The technical people are usually very easy to get along, not to get along with, but like very easy to work with.
Mm-hmm.
They usually that usually doesn't come into play with them.
All right, because you hear all these disaster stories, with crew and actors, directors. You hear all the time just these blow ups that happen over various things, and it's just interesting
Right.
to hear about the dynamics.
I've been really fortunate with most of my projects. It's been the same core group, and nobody really has an ego. Everybody has worked really well together. So, been really lucky on that front.
Fantastic. Yeah, like I said, you're the first person that's come on this show with from a film background, and it's just really fascinating, especially from a independent point of view. Just to hear how it happens in various ways. If someone wants to get into filmmaking, you mentioned that you went the educational route. Is that a must, or
No,
is there a way? Somebody's never done it. Say somebody's never done it before in their life.
okay.
How?
If you've never done it before in your life and you want to get into it, my recommendation is to find a I want to use I'll use Facebook as an example.
Mhm.
Find some kind of social media filmmaking group in your area. Find the events that are taking place, whether it be screenings or seminars or workshops or whatever. Go to those things. Network with people that are local to you, and just get out there and start doing it. Figure out what you want to do, whether it be cinematography, writing, sound, acting, whatever it is that you think you want to do. Research it on YouTube, watch videos, teach yourself how to do it, get books. You don't have to go to film school. It looks good on paper, but I learned way more going out and actually doing it than I did from film school.
Ah, perfect. And most importantly, where can people find you if they want to look you up in your works?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook. You can search me, Jason Pitts. I'm on Twitter, Jason Pitts, and Instagram, Jason Pitts. I have a YouTube channel. There's not a lot on there. There is a short little film called Mama Lou's Bridge on there that you can watch. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, it's again Jason Pitts. Just search me. I'm there.
Fantastic. And we'll also include links in the description, keep everybody up to date. And also, we'll have posted some of your Indiegogo campaigns on our Facebook page as well and social media.
Thank
So
you so much.
obviously,
I
we'll keep
appreciate
people
it.
involved. Well, we'll just wrap it up there and just say thanks everybody for tuning in. Make sure to check out the descriptions to see how you can support Jason and keep up to date with him. And until next time, folks, keep it creepy, keep it horrific.